See if the YouTube works. Okay, we are streaming on YouTube. That's exciting. I'm going to go ahead and record this session for our platform. And we will get started. So exciting. Wonderful. Well, welcome to Your Message Matters. This is the show that we help you do all kinds of things to make your book a success. So when I regrouped a few weeks back and decided what to do with this show for this new season, this new year, I decided I would hit each month on one or more aspects of the book journey. And today was going to be an interview with one of the authors that I've made connection with. And I was so excited for her to be on the show. And she still will be on the show, but she took a little tumble recently and didn't quite feel camera ready. So I thought, well, what can I teach you today? And I think you're going to love today's, I'll call it a lesson. So I really love working with the authors that I'm working with. I do work with authors in different ways. So sometimes I do consultation work, and this is just for one aspect of maybe their book. Sometimes I help people from the beginning all the way to the end. And so last Saturday, one of the reasons I'm doing this show today was because I thought you needed to know this information too. So we were talking about how she needs to build her audience before her book gets released. And I showed her a simple way that I help people connect with authors so that when the book is actually being released, you already have ready-made success, so to speak. And that helps your book become visible more and more as it's released and people purchase it on Amazon. But also it helps you create a whole team of people that you can work with once your book is done or even along the way. So this is one of those ways that I've learned that just works for people. And the good news is you don't have to be super duper tech savvy. You're just going to be using a few tools that are pretty darn easy to set up. So I was excited to help this author get this working last Saturday. And so I thought I would just walk through it with you as well. But let me tell you, one of the things that I have done for years and years now with the authors that have worked with me is really before they get their book done, you want to start gathering interest. The best way to do this, of course, is on social media. Wherever your perfect fit reader is, that's where you want to be. But you can also choose where you want to be, and while you're there, look for your potential readers that you can reach out to. And it really works well to kind of get them in one place. So today, I'm going to be walking you through a way to collect email addresses for them so that you can nurture them and share your journey along the way. But keep in mind, you can do the same exact thing by creating a Facebook group, for example. Maybe you're on TikTok. Now, I don't know at the moment what the future of TikTok is. There's all kinds of information flying around about that. So I'm not sure that's the most stable of platforms, at least here in the US, but maybe that's where your people are. So that does tell me, or in my mind, it creates a little flicker that no matter where you collect your audience, you want to have a way of connecting with them outside of social media. So if something happens to TikTok or your account gets canceled for some reason on Facebook, and this has happened to many people I know, Whatever might happen, you still have a way to connect with your readers. So today we're going to talk about building that email list and some easy ways to do that. Actually, one really easy way to do that. So go ahead and get comfortable, but do take notes, or maybe you'll want to come back and watch this show again. Leave me some messages and let me know, what do you think about the content? Or is there something you want to know that I haven't touched on yet? Or even if I have, you would like more information about it? Boy, I would love your suggestions. I always like to customize this show to serve your needs. I think that's important, right? Just like your book is going to serve the needs of your reader, I want to serve the needs of you. So thank you for being here, whether you're here live or watching the recording. I so appreciate you. So let me take just a quick step back. And last week, if you didn't see it, we were talking about that perfect fit reader. So if you don't know your perfect fit reader, I would suggest maybe going back, not now, of course, but maybe after the show, and looking at the way to decide, or at least to hone in on who that perfect fit reader is. So a quick share about this. When I first wrote my first book, I was working with a publisher. Many of you may already know that story. But one of the things I thought she gave me as really good advice is to make a list of people that I knew would support my book. Now, there are two schools of thought on this. Some people will tell you, and this is actually what I have told people for years, but I'm starting to rethink the strategy just a little bit. So for years, I've told people, just start a list. Have a goal of at least 50 people, maybe even up to 200. I think my first list was over 200 people. But I gathered that list not in one day, no, in months and months. Every time somebody popped into my mind, I would write their name on the list, and then I'd go back and look at how could I contact them best. Do I have their email address? Do I have their phone number? Hey, maybe I have only their contact information on social. Which social? And what is their name on social that I could reach out to them? This is probably best in an Excel spreadsheet so that you could kind of sort things by where you're going to reach out to people. But mine was not that sophisticated. It was a piece of paper that I left on my kitchen counter. And every time somebody came to mind, or maybe I met somebody at the grocery store, I would take their information and list it on there so I could reach out to them later. I remember I met people at the grocery store. One time I met a lady at a store that was going out of business, and she was so excited to meet an author. She wanted to stay in touch, and we're still in touch today. So you never know where you're going to meet these people, but I came home and put her name on my list. So have a notepad ready with you on your person, or maybe just use your phone, but remember to gather these emails all in one place. That way they're ready for you when you're ready to launch your book. So, like I said, I had maybe 200 emails before I published my first book, and this was very helpful in it getting visibility on Amazon. I do think that that's how it went #1 internationally in 8 countries and in 9 categories. Now, of course, the categories have changed now. You can only have 3, and you don't have to request more to be done. You can do your 3 right from the get-go. And just kind of a little hint of how I do that, I select 1 or 2 very niche categories and 1 more broad category. That way, I think you get the best bang for your buck, so to speak, when you're launching your book. So when you have a group of people who are all purchasing your book all at the same time, this helps your book creep up in um, the uh, dungeon, if you will, of Amazon readers, so that you're climbing out of this dungeon and you're not left there, but you're now getting the light that you want on your book. So you can find more and more supporters by creating a buzz about what you're doing. So from the very beginning, you could post on social media or send an email address out and say things like, "Hey, I'm writing a book. Would you want to support me in my journey?" And then you want to give them ways to support you. Do them a favor, and I learned this the hard way. Don't give them a whole lot to do all at once. If you write a really long email, it will probably not be read. So just give them one or two things very briefly that you would like them to do to support you. The first thing I would say is to set up this process so that you can collect your emails in a simple way. So building this audience is a foundational start for an audience for your book. You can create that Facebook group that might be just related to the topic of your book, whatever your topic is about. In her case, her book is all about a journey she took where her her husband was quite abusive. They had moved out of the country, and he had this brilliant idea that he would send her back home to the States, but keep their son to raise in his home country. Well, she didn't like that idea a whole lot, and over time, she ended up escaping with her son, and that was a whole thing, as you can imagine. So her book is really about this snippet of time where she started discovering that he was abusive, he was controlling, and he was trying to take her son away. It was horrible when you think about it. So she wants to really help people and support people, women especially, who may be in a similar situation and not even fully understand the gravity of what their life is like, because sometimes you're in a secret place with this. Anyway, so she's going to be setting up a Facebook group for women who may be in a similar situation or have gotten out of a situation and want to support one another. I think that's a brilliant idea to create a buzz around your book, but also to be helping people. And so that's what she's going to do. But how do you do it? How do you get people there? We're not going to talk about building the Facebook group. However, we are going to talk about the list, and the list, once you get them going, one of the first things you could do when somebody joins your list is invite them to your Facebook group. So how do we set this up? Well, I'm going to share my screen to show you my simple method of gathering emails with a Google form. So most people do have a Gmail account. And if you have a Gmail account, you may or may not realize that you also have the ability to create other things. Like you might save things in a Google Drive. You may use some of the other features within Google. And I'm going to show you my screen right now so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this is a very simple form, and I wanted to make this so you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. If you could let me know for sure if you can see this okay, I would really love it. If you put in the chat that you can see it, that would be great. Hopefully you're seeing what I am seeing. I always wonder if I'm doing this right. Oh, it always makes me laugh. But it looks to me, yes, I'm getting the message back that you can see this, so that's wonderful. Thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate it. So this is a Google account, and you also have, so this is, whoop, I just like freaked that out. I hope you can still see it. These little dots here are specific to the Google form. But I was going to first show you how to get to the Google form. So this is one of my accounts. I'm going to actually go to the account where the Google form is. And you see these little dots. I don't know if you can see them. There are 9 dots right next to your little icon, whatever it is that you use for your icon. And with that, you have your Google Drive, you have your Gmail, of course. You can use Google Docs. You can put your Google Docs in your Google Drive. You can use Sheets, which is like an Excel spreadsheet. And if you set up your form just right, you will get a list of people on a Google Sheet. Now, isn't that just genius, right? Your calendar's here and all kinds of things. Your YouTube account will be here. All kinds of things that are all pertinent to this Gmail or Google account. So the next thing we want to do is take a look at the sheet that hopefully, let me double check here and see. I think what I did, here is my, I'm going to stop sharing and start again just to make sure that you can actually see the screen that I'm looking at. Now that I bounced around a lot, hopefully you saw navigating that. But basically you go to your Google account, look for the 9 dots, and then look for Google Forms. So this is a Google form. What you're going to want to do is create a little topper for it. And if you don't have your cover finished, you can absolutely create and change this as you progress and get to creating more and more things. For example, you may not have your title ready yet. To tell you the truth, I kind of think it's a good idea to select your title at the end of the time you have your manuscript. Now, you may have had a title in mind. I know I have. I wanted to name my grief book, My Anchor Still Holds. That was a name that was impressed upon me for a long, long time now. But to tell you the truth, I've rethought that lately, and I thought, well, that's great for me. My anchor is still holding, but that's not speaking to my reader a whole lot. I really think that the title should be Your Anchor Will Still Hold. But I don't even know if that's the right title of what I want to do just yet. But I've been thinking into it. But my manuscript is almost finished, but I don't have the title just yet. So you may not have your title, you may not have your cover yet. You can use a generic topper here if you'd like, but the more you have finished, the more I would encourage you to create a graphic here that will let the reader know more about what you're doing. And if you have your cover all done, a lot of people do before they finish the manuscript, and probably a great idea if you do. You might put that here, or you could even do a split test and create in Canva. You want to create this topper in Canva, or to make it even more simple, they have some toppers that you can select that are very generic, and you just pick the one that meets your needs. Or if you're a little more creative and you like Canva like I do, you can create one very specific to your book and put it right here. Then you're going to put the name of your book, or you could just say, I'm developing a launch team for a book about whatever you're writing about, because you can adopt this and change it a little now and then. When you know more information, you've developed more information, you can create your list starting now, even if you don't have all the information. You can make some changes, and I really think it's a good idea to start this process as soon as you start writing your book. And I know how silly that sounds. You're like, well, I haven't even written my book yet. But you want to know that people are interested in what you're doing, and it's a great idea to include people in your journey, because this is what really helps people get excited about what you're doing. So you just create a simple message here that says, thank you for supporting me and this particular message that I am wanting to write about, or that I am writing a book about. Let people know kind of a brief description of what the book is about. They probably already know that, or they wouldn't have come to this page unless they just want to support you. Either way, you're giving them information. And then let them know, as this is gathering people for your launch team. And as you do that, you want to let them know what you expect of them. You can put it right here so they can refer to it, but you can also kind of allude to a part of it in an email that you may send out to friends and family. And I touched on this a minute ago, but there's two schools of thought. One is get anybody and everybody you know on your list to help you with your launch. But there is another school of thought that I am starting to lean towards a little bit, and that is you really want your ideal reader, because you don't want Amazon thinking your friends and family are your ideal reader if they are not your ideal reader. So they are all buying your book, which tells Amazon, hey, this is the ideal reader for this book. I think it's a little bit better strategy. Although that works to get visible, you might not be visible in front of the audience you want. So if you're collecting your perfect fit readers and making a good, viable list out of them, that is probably a better strategy. But either way, it works to get visibility for your book. And being in the right categories and the right keywords, all of that kind of all lumps together in creating the buzz around your book. So you let your people know what you expect of them, and then you want to ask some questions. You want their email list. I mean, you want them to go to your email list, so you need their email address. And I always say best email address, because a lot of us have email addresses. We don't look at that often. And so you don't want your thing to go there. They might not ever see it. And then their name and a few key questions that you want to ask that will really help hone in this particular list. So I wouldn't make it too lengthy, but I also want it to look very official. I just see a typo here. You want it to be very official um, in what you're having, the purpose of this list and what you are asking them to do. So it's very, very simple, very easy. You can make it very short, or you can make it a little longer like this one is. You might have more success the simpler it is. But there are people who are going to want to support you, and my recommendation is to get them on the list. The next thing you want to do is click responses and make sure you link it to a sheet. Then all of the emails will go straight to a Google Sheet, and it's very easy to copy and paste those and put them in a BCC. I always say if you're simply just going to send out an email, you want to use BCC, which is a blind copy, so that you are not giving everyone this list of emails that you've collected. When you send it out with a BCC, they only see their own email address and yours as the sender. I have been in trouble with people for not doing this when I first started understanding more and more about emails and how to send them correctly, so that you don't ruffle feathers like I did. Anyway, so this will really help you. And so what you can do, you can even take it and send it to people individually if you want to. You could maybe, when somebody signs up, send them a thank you. Thank you for signing up. You could have that as a template already set up. Or if you are able to do a little more sophistication, you can also create an automation in a CRM, which is CRM. I have to think about that. I'm having a total blank. Customer relations management, it's something about customer or client management. These are programs. You could use Constant Contact is one I started with. I now use Funnel Gorgeous, which I love. And you can set up full automations, or you can do it an easy way, just simply by doing it yourself. Doing it yourself without an automation, of course, takes more time, doesn't it? But that's the thing. You pay more for things that create easier process, but you have to pay for that. You pay in either your time or your money or resources. Or you can have somebody else do it. So you could hire a virtual assistant or do it in a way like that. So somebody is monitoring this maybe once a week and sending out little notes saying, thank you for signing up. I'm so excited about my book, and I'm excited that you want to support me. So you can create the buzz this way. And then you can also, by sending, you can also get your link. So you can get your link right here. You can shorten it, which makes it really easy to send to somebody. You can copy it and then you can put it in an email, or you can send it just straight from here to an email. There's so much you can do with just this very simple Google form. And I love this because I think it's so important to be letting people know about your journey. It will not only inspire them to support you, but it may inspire them to write a book too. You never know. But for sure, the purpose behind this is for you to um, gather a list of people who are interested in what you're writing a book about, so that when the time comes, they will purchase it from you. And you have a list that's building all along the way. So you can post on social media, wherever you post your posts, and say, I'm writing a book. What do you think about this? And you could even add a first chapter, and that will collect email addresses for people who are interested. You could even create um, you would call it a lead magnet or some type of something that people want, that would thank them for being on your list, but also kind of encourage them to want to be on your list. So you could offer like say if your book is a how-to kind of book, you might give them a checklist or some other kind of tool that would help them now, but also help them see the value of what you're writing about and how they could help you, but also how you will be able to help them with whatever you're writing about. So I hope this is valuable for you, but a simple Google form is one of the easiest ways to set up something that will collect your email addresses without a whole lot of technology, and you can create a buzz around your book and ask people to help you along the way. They're going to want to help you. If they care about you, or even if they only care about the topic you're writing about, they will want to help you. I hope you enjoyed this topic. I hope it's valuable for you to put into practice. I always say, learn a little and then do a little. This is a John Maxwell theme that our mentor, Chris Robinson, always says. So learn a little, do a little. So if you're writing a book, now's the time to create a form or some way to collect your perfect fit readers, or anyone if you'd like, to create a buzz around your book so that it succeeds once you publish it. Thank you so much, and connect with me on Facebook. I have a group there called Write Your Book Now, Authors Helping Authors. I would love for you to be a part of it. And if you do, would you go and post something about your book? You're more than welcome to add any information you might like, and I'd love to see your link that you've created for your form so that people can sign up to help you. That's why I created this Facebook group, was to help authors who want to help one another. You know, we're in this together, aren't we? I think we are. In fact, I know we are. So thank you so much. I truly believe your message matters, and your readers are out there waiting for you to finish your book. So let's go and find them now, so that when your book's ready, you can make the impact you are hoping for in their lives and also in yours. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I so appreciate you, and have a wonderful week. God bless.